Who is Haggai? Haggai is a prophet that prophesied after the returns of exile. Actually, he was one of the first prophets that prophesied when people came back from Babylon. And he gave 4 solid messages that all took place in 520 BC. Later on, we are going to study those messages one by one as we draw out application from them. How do those messages apply to us? But nothing much is known about Haggai. It is most likely that he was born in Babylon and maybe in the early years of exiles, because it seems like he had some understanding of how the previous temple had been. And so he would probably be an old man during this time that is prophesying. He returned with Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, during the first returns of the exiles, because the first return was led by Zerubbabel. And the second return was led by Ezra. The first return took place in 539 BC. And so that is when they started laying the foundation of the temple in 539 BC. That is when the first returns happened. And it was led by Zerubbabel. And so when they laid the foundation of the temple, then opposition came. And then the second return happened in 458 BC. And that one was led by Ezra. The purpose of Ezra was to build a nation. So he did religious reforms mainly when he came. And then the last return happened in 444 BC, which was led by Nehemiah. And we all know that Nehemiah came purposely to build a wall of Jerusalem. So in this, we see that there is building the temple in Jerusalem, and then building the people, strengthening their faith in God, which was done by Ezra, and then building the wall around the city, which was done by Nehemiah. So this is how these things took place. And so the reason why Haggai prophesies is because when they laid the foundation of the house of the Lord, opposition arose by the indigenous people, the people that were living on the land for these 70 years that these people were away. And there were rulers, there were governors on the land who did not believe in the children of Israel. And so they caused chaos and they hindered the temple from being rebuilt. And because of that, the building stopped for almost 16 years, I think. But then what the children of Israel did, they started building houses for themselves. And then we see that God was grieved because of what they did. That is why in 520 BC, the prophecy comes through Haggai, rebuking them for not doing the right thing that had brought them on the land. The right thing was to build the temple, not to build houses for themselves. And so when we read the Haggai chapter 1, verse 8, which is the key verse of this book, a key verse, because if you read, when you get the verse that is key in the book, it will summarize for you the entire book. So this verse summarizes the entire book of Haggai. That is the heart of God. That was the heart of God. The heart of God was for them to go into the wood, to build the house of the Lord. That was the main purpose they came. God did not look at the opposition which was there, because anybody who trusts in him is able to do all things.